Going live. All right, I'm going to try to go live here. The reason I'm going live is I'm feeling a little just discouraged about stuff. A lot of people who believe in this campaign, Tulsi Gabbard for president, were cut from kind of a different cloth, or were looked at in a way which I don't know. Maybe we're just not mainstream people. Maybe we just have overthought what people should be, as far as a presidential candidate. I look at my own journey to where I am, and I just thought, hey, we're going to war constantly, and Americans aren't voting for these wars. We're not raising our hands. Never mind Congress. I think there should be some sort of war referendum where people basically get a say in if we go to war or not. Now, I understand when you elect the president, you're giving the president power to take up arms and to do what you supposedly sent him there to do. But here's a case in point. Donald Trump said that, hey, I'm not for these regime change interventionist wars. I'm not for them. And thus, you can count on me once I get into office to, curb the military's enthusiasm. Well, that's the last thing that is happening right now. And Tulsi Gabbard comes along. She offers this alternative message. Bernie Sanders, to some degree as well. But if you're a true anti-war person, Tulsi has to be your first choice. At least Tulsi in the Democratic Party. Yes, there will be third-party options and so forth, and it's just, you do that stuff right now because you don't want to be guilty of electing somebody that is against your core belief system. And then, later at the water cooler, you can tell everybody, well, I didn't vote for either one of those clowns. I voted for, whether it was Jill Stein in the last election or whoever in the next election. I don't know. I look at the headlines. I had some stuff that I was looking at here, and it's just Joe Biden, and more Joe Biden. It's the media has, and you can't watch mainstream media without seeing Joe Biden. Okay, and now I'm starting to hear more about Elizabeth Warren. Oh, she's creeping up in the polls and so forth, and she's a corporatist, and she wants environmentally friendly war. I read some stuff the other day, and I watched a little bit of Jimmy Dore, and this isn't going to get us anywhere. It's just, again, rearranging the old deck chairs on the Titanic, and it's like my message is way over here. Not mine personally, but the message I'm paying attention to, it's way over there. I'm not pointing left on purpose here. Actually, it's my right, your left. But which makes sense, I guess. And everybody else is talking about this stuff over here. Now, I understand, Joe Rogan was a great interview. And Kim Iverson, there's been some other interviews where she's gotten some great exposure. But then you have this ridiculous hit piece thing that comes out over the weekend about her top advisor, or top contributor is a conspiracy theorist and so forth. And none of that is true. None of it is true. But that's what is served up to the tribal left part of the Democratic Party, who is the Alyssa Milano strain, where Trump is just a horrible, horrible man. He's a horrible man, and we have to get rid of him. I don't care what policies anybody has, so long as Trump isn't there anymore. And that truly is the diagnosis of Trump derangement syndrome. Okay, you get rid of Trump, whether you impeach him or you replace him with somebody who is a nicer version, they're going to get to do the things that Trump is afraid to do right now. You think that Joe Biden, if he gets into office, isn't going to go all over the world and become, this imperialist empire and do the things that Trump right now probably is trying to throttle back to some degree, but obviously he's all in. Just heard about $8 billion in weapon sales going to Saudi Arabia. $8 billion. And what are they doing with those weapons? Well, they're committing genocide in Yemen, and American citizens have no control over that. We have so little control over what the MIC is doing. We really do. And this is the point that somebody was trying to make to me, is that even if we put somebody in, if we get Tulsi Gabbard to the finish line, then she's up against, remember Trump at the beginning and how he capitulated? Because Trump just wants to be liked. Okay, Trump has this big ego he's constantly trying to feed, whereas Tulsi Gabbard has stated over and over again that she's not aspiring to be the president because she wants this job, to put on a resume, and she's always wanting to step over people to get to the presidency. No, she is running because she believes that the presidency would allow her to actually bring the troops home. It would give her the best shot at doing that. And I would agree with that. It would still be difficult. You'll have the entire MIC looking at her and saying, you can't do that, you can't do that, we're committed. If you pull the troops out, there are going to be horrendous consequences, and the region will go completely insane and destabilized, and it'll be the United States doing it. And, well, if we weren't there to begin with, we wouldn't have these problems. So I'm really wrestling with the idea that maybe none of it makes a difference. Now, I know I've done videos before where people have said, come on, it'll be okay. Come on, Dave. And I'm just like, yeah, maybe it will be. But then you read these articles, and where is my candidate in all of this? Where did she go? Not her. She's doing what she's supposed to do. She's putting out great ads. She had one over this past weekend, Memorial Day weekend, where, again, it was another home run, like completely out of the ballpark. Just crushed it. And where is my candidate? Why, if you Google Joe Biden right now, it'll be article after article after article in every major political publication, whether it's Politico or, whatever, mainstream thing that's out there. And they're following Biden around. And even poor Bernie. I mean, Bernie Sanders, who has like 1 million volunteers plus, can't even seem to get the press coverage that he deserves. I'll tell you, he's got the mojo, but yet it's like, well, let's write another article why Bernie Sanders in 1981 said something really crazy. And I'm thinking to myself, what are we doing? It's almost like the great misinformation campaign. And we all sit around and we know it's all a bunch of either, you can't say it's all lies, but what you do, it's guilt by omission a lot of times. Like talking about Pete Buttigieg and how he's a young guy and he had military service, and then you don't mention Tulsi Gabbard in the same breath. She's more qualified than Pete Buttigieg, all right? She's boots on the ground. He's the guy who, is in the room somewhere plotting, rubbing his hands together. What are we going to do? Should we take out all of these innocent civilians? That's Pete, okay? Mayor Pete, as he's affectionately called. So it's very easy for me to get to a point where I keep going to this place where a lot of people don't want me to go. Where, first of all, the DNC is corrupt. The media establishment is corrupt. It's up to the people to find the will to be energized, but also to get more people to come with us. Is it because people are sold that everything is fine and that we just keep Trump and the Democrats are okay, even though they're going out of their way to do crazy impeachment stunts? Do they keep going and doing this just because it's good for their fundraising efforts? I don't know anymore. This whole political system is whacked out. It just is, because if you really want to get something done, and I do, this is the point. I want to get something done. I don't want to just vote for the lesser of two evils. I voted Trump, as people know. I'm over with Trump. I'm done with Trump. I'm disliking Trump more and more each day. The only area of sympathy I have for Trump is occasionally I do think that the media is in this ridiculous pursuit of him, which couple that with the fact that while they're doing that, we don't get to hear about anything else. That real important issues don't get talked about because, now we're going to dissect the redacted report and we're going to talk about obstruction. And folks, we're getting close to 2020. And Trump is out there touting his economy and making fun of Joe Biden already. And this is the matchup. Look, Trump wants Joe Biden. He definitely wants to go up against. He does not want Tulsi Gabbard. He does not want Bernie Sanders. Okay, he doesn't want those two because they are proposing actual policies that would be popular with even Republican voters. So I don't know. I'm live here because I needed to vent a little bit. Plus, I got this wonderful channel here demonetizing, like the last video, and then a day or two later, goes by, and then look, we've decided after waiting 2 days, we've manually reviewed your video and found it to be okay. Thanks. I just lost 2,000 views. A new channel like this, and the fact that I don't have that many subscribers compared to a lot of the bigger channels. And I'm not complaining. I can't believe I have this many subscribers, but you get to the point where if you combine free speech and Tulsi Gabbard and anti-war and you put it all in one video, those are the things that sets the algorithm off and makes it go crazy. Peace makes the algorithm go crazy. Please stop talking about peace. Should I say code pink a few times? Will that, set the algorithm off? I mean, who would have thought that the people who are the meekest, who want to just keep the troops from getting killed, those people would be the people that we target? Because the economy and the country is so hell-bent now on this military-based economy. And the $8 billion in weapons that we just sold to Saudi Arabia proves that. And if you work for a military contractor right now, or you're living in the vicinity of the place that makes the weaponry, yeah, life is good. I guess, we could either, that old adage, you can beat them or you can join them. I'm not willing to join them. I don't care how prosperous it gets for me. Florida, I don't know, there's like 8 bases here or something. There might be more. I don't know, maybe there's more. I thought it was 8, might be higher. The point is, it's not helping me. It's not helping me. I know it's helping a lot of other people, but it's more importantly, it's immoral. It's immoral that we're just making money off of the backs of people who perpetuate war. And nobody sees it as immoral anymore. People kind of justify it. They look at it. Our entire entertainment, or a good portion of entertainment on television, there are shows dedicated to like SWAT and NCIS. I mean, I watch them. This is how I know. This is how I get some of my sort of just mindless entertainment. And the glorification of the military to the point where it's great. I mean, they're heroes. I get that. And we need a military, and we need all of the different emergency and protective services that we have. But I got to tell you, it's after a while, you kind of think to yourself, I was telling my son the other day, he's thinking about going off when he gets older and joining a branch of the military, and I'm like, I'm going to talk to you before you make that decision. I'm going to talk to you about what we're doing with our military right now. And that's the conversation everybody needs to have with their kids if they're teenage and they're thinking about joining up. It's, you're 18, it's your life, you can do what you want. But personally speaking, what's the mission? What are we doing? And this is what Tulsi Gabbard says all the time. She says this all the time. What is our mission? What is our objective? Is it to go to another country and to destroy that country, and then we'll go back later and we'll send a bunch of people in to rebuild it? So I'm running out of patience with the idea, excuse me, that we can affect change. I'm running out of patience with that idea, that we can affect change. Maybe we can, but within this structure that we're in, between the media, the DNC, both political parties are corrupt. The voting system is suspect. And it's not the Russians doing the hacking, folks. I don't know. I don't know where we're going in the long run with any of this. I just think that we're kind of all hopeful, because this is all I hear all the time. Well, Dave, just be hopeful. Once she gets into the debates, yes. But after the debates, if things aren't really moving and shaking, then, as a few of my other new friends have told me, they're like, you got to have a plan B, because we can't keep doing this every 4 years. And the Bernie people, too. Imagine if the Bernie people get shut out twice. They got 1 million volunteers. Their guy has more chatter and more social media and more just clicks and interest than anybody else. And yet Joe Biden is going to beat Bernie Sanders. People are talking about now Elizabeth Warren more than Bernie Sanders. I don't know, people. It is time to think third party. It is time to think new paradigm. But we just, I guess, carry on and try to be hopeful and optimistic. But you Google some stuff today on politics, and you're going to find the conversations are way over here, like I said. And I am over here somewhere thinking about no more war and certain policies that would help the American people. And those things aren't even being discussed. Like lighter versions. Like if you like Medicare for all, they're going to do some kind of compromise where you get private insurance, but it's not really private, and it's not really, it's, again, much like the Affordable Care Act, it's another boon to insurance companies rather than to consumers. And we just go through the same cycle again. It's the same hamster wheel. And this is me saying, I want to get off the hamster wheel. That's all I'm saying. And we need everybody engaged on social media, but you need to talk to your family, your friends, your coworkers. Really tough, I know, to talk politics at work or for the most, really anywhere. And most everybody, they're going to know Trump and they're going to know Joe Biden. And if they hate Trump, they're going to be like, oh, thank goodness Biden is running, because now, that'll bring back the Obama years and everything's going to be great. And well, the economy wasn't too rosy in the Obama years, all right? And a lot of people got foreclosed upon in the Obama years. And large banks and companies like General Motors got bailed out. Remember those bailouts? But everybody, because Trump's mean and he tweets and he can't construct a sentence. I know all these things. I voted for him anyway because I thought he was gonna shake things up. But we've got the establishment still, and if anything, he's just letting it all go because he wants to be popular. He wants to be liked. He wants to be liked by people in the media, which they're never going to like Trump. But he also doesn't really know what he's doing, so he's again outsourced, and the outsourcing is not going so well. But he could still win the election Because here's why. Because if you put up a Joe Biden against a Donald Trump, it's a battle of personalities. Because the policies, Trump can run, I was saying this on Twitter earlier, Trump could actually run to the left of Joe Biden on criminal justice reform. That's just crazy to even think about. So go get your Biden. If you like your Biden, you can keep your Biden. I don't know. I'm not making much sense here. It's a long live stream, and this is just a cathartic thing. But Tulsi Gabbard, if we're going to get her even like with some decent polling numbers, time is running out, because that first debate is toward the end of June. And we've got to see how those debates shake out. We've got to see how much actual stage time she gets. Will they ask her a question? And will it be one of those, so you went to go visit Assad in Syria on a fact-finding mission, and you're the only person to do that. And, if the questions are all like that, then it's, we kind of know it's rigged already, but how rigged is it? And then once that's over with, what do we do with that information? Do we sit there and go, okay, we'll just wait till the actual primaries and the caucuses happen? And I don't know. I think we need to stay organized and look for the future, look for the big picture. Because down the road, if it's Biden against Trump, I ain't voting for either one of them. Just letting you know. And I will be somebody who will be very busy trying to organize a candidate, organize for a candidate who nobody probably will be aware of. They probably won't know their name unless Tulsi decides to run as an independent or something, which would be awesome. Which I'll tell you what, if Tulsi ran as an independent, that would be the beginning of the movement that we need to fix what's broken right now. But if she's within this structure, it makes it almost impossible for her and for us to operate that way. We have to all wait it out and see what happens. So in any event, yeah, Green Party, possible. It's possible. The Greens have to change their image. The Greens have to be more than the Prius driving, latte drinking, like that gentleman, that Congress guy who's running for Congress in Washington State, Joshua Collins, I think his name is. He's running as a Democrat, but he's got all of the good stuff in his platform, the real policy ideas that can move and shake things. So you need to kind of, I would say, focus on economic populism. Certainly you can talk environmental issues. I mean, you're called the Green Party, so you're going to have to. But you need to kind of tout things like a living wage, or just talk issues, talk what we used to call the kitchen table issues, or the now what I call them are big ticket items, and make those like the bullet points, and then certainly mix in the environmentalism within that. I don't know what to do with it though. It's tough, because if your image is green, just green only, people just think maybe you're too hardcore into environmentalism and you're not really, this stuff really isn't going to help my family. You'll say, well, it's going to save the planet possibly. And you'll say, yeah, but I can't, health insurance is expensive and I can't afford it. My prescription drugs are too expensive. You know what I mean? You got to talk to people where they live on these issues. And you got to ditch any sort of allegiance to identity politics. We got to get over that stuff. I don't know how that's going to happen. I know that's more of a tribal left issue, and they use it and they make everybody hate one another based on gender and sex and sexual orientation and skin color. After a while, you just sit here and you go, what did I do? What did I say? I just woke up this morning. I'm not trying to hate on anybody. And then you have that backlash, which a lot of these people on the right are backlashing, and that can be dangerous. That can be very dangerous. You're instigating people to do and say bad things, where people used to be in hiding on that stuff before. Now they're starting to come out. So, all right, I got to wrap this up. We're at like 25 minutes and counting, but I appreciate everybody allowing me to kind of vent here. Again, if you can support the channel, there is a link up top for Patreon. It takes you over to my music channel, but it's the same me over there as here. And if you want to give like $1 for a month, I'd really appreciate it. You can give more. All I can tell you is I get to a point where if I'm being demonetized for, trip words like peace, don't put peace in there, Dave. It's too controversial. People are, nobody talks peace anymore. Yeah, well, I do. And I will continue to do so. And I will continue to talk Tulsi and the MIC, which, of course, is really just controlling everything. This is the sad thing that people don't want to confront. All righty, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Live stream ending now. See you soon.